And boys, we're back at it again with a different type of video. Now I'm making this video because again, it's kind of an update video of where I've been. If you're wondering why, recently the uploads have slowed down and why I haven't uploaded on main channel as well as the cartoon channel and all that stuff. Mainly because for those of you that don't know, when I came back from vacation and stuff, I lost my voice, and for a while I literally sounded like I was going through puberty, right? And the last couple of days it kind of happened again. This time luckily I knew the remedy, because the last time everybody was like, hey, you should drink green tea with lemon and all that stuff, and it really helps. It really did, right? My voice still sounds a little bit raspy than what I normally feel like sound, but it's a lot better, right? I would preferably just like to get rid of this overall, but it's a solution. So again, I literally couldn't speak for a couple of days, so I was just like, hey, I'm gonna just take a break. I'm not gonna force myself like I did last time and then completely lose my voice. So that's why I was kind of gone. But while we were on it, it kind of, I noticed one of the things, because I was going through some of the comments, and a lot of, people on the most recent ReZero video, which was, again, ReZero Season 3 Episode 2 video, were saying that apparently, Neel might be pre-watching because he's predicting so much stuff. And, I think one of the comments was like, another instance of Neel predicting something without actually ever theorizing anything, and stuff. And it got me thinking, because again, for those of you that don't know, I watch so much stuff that a lot of the times I forget what I even said in the video, because it comes out on YouTube side of the things like 3 weeks to a month later, and by that time I've already watched so much other stuff that I don't know what I even said in that video, right? So I actually had to go back and watch my own video, and the only instance that I think I can think of where of what people were probably talking about is when I made the theory in this video about the girl right here. I'll actually go in the Patreon version so you don't have to see the whole filter thing, right? But the theory I made about this girl, I forgot her name again, the wife, let's just call it the wife of his, right? The only thing that I can think of is I made a theory on YouTube side about her maybe being the mother figure of Emilia from the flashback that we saw. Was it earlier this season or end of last season? I don't know exactly when that happened, but you get the point, right? And on I think YouTube side of the things, the editor cut out the whole conversation, right? Because it kind of seemed like I randomly just got the idea that, okay, she has to be most likely the mother figure of Emilia, and stuff. But if you actually watch the streams, or if you actually watch the Patreon version, right, you see that I'm watching it live, and somebody into a chat said, look at her ears. There you go, right? And so I went back on the scene and I noticed that she had elf ears, and I was like, hold on. And that's how I started. For the next 2 minutes I literally just was sitting there making up the whole theory and all that stuff. Again, this is one of those instances where sometimes my editors, when they're editing something, they don't always have watch the same shows themselves. So sometimes they'll just be like, oh, this is not important, they'll cut it out and leave it be, right, and stuff. And so a lot of the times what I want to say is that if you do actually see me theorize something and you feel like, oh wait, he just came up with this out of nowhere and all of a sudden he's just going with it, chances are I probably spent a solid 20 minutes or so on stream theorizing that and doing all that stuff, and it just never made it into the YouTube side of the video. So if you probably went to the Patreon side, you'll see it. And sometimes even on Patreon, right, like there's a lot of stuff that a lot of the theories and stuff that I come up with about ReZero and stuff, it's usually after I end recording and I'm just sitting there and just talking to chat, and I'm just like, okay, what if it's like this, what if it's like that, and a lot of the stuff just happens outside of recording, right? And that's one of those things where you just kind of have to be there on the stream to experience it. If not, it's GG's in the chat, right? But that's I think the only thing. I normally, again, this is not the first time I've gotten these type of comments, but I think this is the first instance where I've noticed, and I had to go back and I was like, okay. And it's probably also because I didn't record for the last couple of days, so I had extra free time, so I was actually going through the comments and stuff. But normally I just tend to ignore these type of comments, because most of the comments that I usually get is like, I think one of the comments on this video was like me saying that because they were, I think Subaru was right here, right, at one point talking about by looking into, where is it? Yeah. See, it's no going it's no use going alone, and he was talking about how he'll need somebody strong enough, right? And of course the first thing I said was, we need Reinhardt, right? Because who else is in town that we know is super strong, right? Reinhardt, right? And I think usually a lot of these times when I call out stuff like this, some people be like, how did you know it was going to be Reinhardt? And those comments I don't normally, take too hard, because I'm like, all right, these guys are just fucking retards and dumbasses, right? They clearly don't pay attention to the show, right? And that's one of the reasons why, again, I usually ignore it, but I feel like this was one of those instances where I was like, okay, I can see why they're confused, and I just wanted to clear it up. So again, if you're wondering why I came up with those theories, that's how I spent like fucking 5 minutes on stream talking about it and stuff, and the editors just sadly cut it out. It's happened a couple of times in the other stuff as well. I think Mushoku Moonlit Fantasy, there you go, Moonlit Fantasy, as well as I think Mushoku Tensei, when we used to do it back then and stuff as well. A lot of the times, I know I call myself a dumbass, but give me the props. I'm actually pretty smart. I watch this shit for living and stuff, and there's a reason why I can do this for a living, right? You would think that I'm actually smart enough to pay attention to the little details and come up with my own theories and actually predict what's gonna happen. And I feel like that's another thing that most people don't realize, is that once you watch like 2 isekais, you kind of know 70% of all the isekais that ever exist in the world, because 70% of it is all similar. They just take the rest 30% and go their own unique way about it, right? So when you watch Slime, you already know what's gonna happen in Moonlit Fantasy. Like it's kind of very similar, right? It's the same way with like when I watched Death Note and stuff, right? I kind of predicted a lot of the stuff because I try and put my own self into that character and be like, okay, how would I do this thing if I was in this character's shoes? And a lot of the times it's so predictable and so easy that you should be able to guess it. If you can't, I mean, that sounds like a skill issue to me. So either way, again, hope you guys enjoyed it, and that's where I've been. The uploads should have started today. By the time you're watching this video, we should have uploaded episode of Moonlit Fantasy. If you're wondering what we have been up to on Patreon side of the things, we did start Shangri-La Frontier. I did the openings as well as episode 1 and stuff. That should be going live on YouTube, I think either today or tomorrow. And we're also watching Beyblade and Ben 10 on the cartoon channel. So again, if you haven't already, again, go check out the cartoon channel, Desai, if that's the name, if you want to look it up, or in the description. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Have a good day. Take care and stay safe.